Hello everyone. On the Mars milk today. We did some board games yesterday. A little bit sore. Anyway, another story. One question I forgot to somebody mentioned me a while ago is how many cutting discs have I used. I think I've gone through over 100 at the moment. So I buy them in packs of 50 and I've definitely gone through 2 packs. And I'm on to my last 50 at the moment, so just out of interest, yeah. I'll just buy these thin ones, 1mm ones. That's all I use. And so, yeah, they don't last long depending on what they are and the quality of them. But anyway, yeah, so over 100 I've used. About 20 or so soft pads I spent so far. Alright, so got to take these subframe mounts off. Somebody gave me a tip yesterday on YouTube using my angle grinder spanner. Poke that in one of the holes and lock it on the ground, and hopefully the nut should come undone, so we'll give that a go. If not, we'll break out the disc cutter. But yeah, let's give them a go, and then we'll clean the subframe up as much as we can. Just check the state of it. Put a bit of rust preventative stuff on it, I expect. Put a bit of extra primer, and then we can slowly put a bit of smooth white on it over eventually. But yeah, let's get those off first. Well, that was going alright until the nuts locked up a bit. I should have stopped earlier and gone back again. Don't try and wind the nut right off. So before I go any further, I'm going to try and get some of these smaller studs out that broke off on the subframe mount, because if they're going to be a pain. I've also noticed quite a few holes in the subframe as well, so you know, part of me says I should just try and find a decent second-hand one. But also part of me says maybe I should repair it just so you guys can see me repairing it. It gives a good game. It's one of these things, you know. I've got time technically, but time is precious, so it has a value. Car's got to be done for May. So let me just attempt to get some of these 2 nut studs out. If they give me a pain, I'm going to just scrap the subframe and try and find another one. Alright, well, it hasn't beaten me just yet. Studs are a bit of a bugger to get out, so basically ended up, I don't know if you can see there, I weld a bolt to the end. I tried a nut and a washer, didn't work too well. So I'll put some blob of weld just on the end of the stud that you can still see just sticking out to build it up a little bit. Then I welded that to the end of a bolt, nice big bolt, and then slowly work it out, a lot of WD-40. Working it in and out, and then it came out, so that's good. Done both of those. What I did with the big pin was, don't know if you can see, but I ground down, you saw me in there with the grinder, I just tried to grind down as much as I could of the side of the nut, and gave it a bit of a clout with a hammer, and maybe with the chisel sometimes. Hasn't damaged the thread at all. I didn't go that far, if you sort of mean, just enough to then basically, it just loosened up, if you sort of mean. And then I was able to wind the nut out, so these pins look alright. So hopefully all I need to do is buy new nuts, not new pins. Someone's calling. Alright, sorry about that. That's just a daughter asking for a lift, so I was a little bit busy doing important stuff, so she's walking. So yeah, let's try and undo the other side. Can't remember if I've got even more studs to get out that side. Let's try and get the studs out and see where we are. We've got a bit of an afternoon, so let's just see how far we get on repairing the subframe and stuff. So let's just see what we can make of it, and then yeah, go from there. Alright, well, I'm just wasting my time. I've just even seen him in more bus now in places, which is a good bugger to get to. I've got one last stud that's been a right pain in the ass. So I'm just going to leave it for a bit, have a quick look online later, see if I can find a half decent subframe that's local, and then just do that if I can. Otherwise I'm going to come back to it. Sometimes the job's just worth putting aside for a bit. So yeah, so much of a video about repairing a subframe, more of a video about giving up on a subframe. Alright, I'm going to walk on the back end for a bit. I did a quick eBay looking for rear subframes. Found one up in Doncaster, which is about 220 miles away from me, but it's not far from my dad's, which is good. So 30 quid, but had rust on it as well, but definitely not as bad. But need to have a think on that. Let's not make any rash decisions. Maybe I can repair mine still. But anyway, just at the front end. So what I'm going to do is just drill some holes now through the inner wing, which attach to the tabs to the front here. So what I do is I drill some holes up and plug weld through, but also maybe get a nut and bolt or a screw through to start with, just to put them all nice and tight so I can do welding on. So yeah, and then we can work out, need to clean up the edges yet, and actually get some spot welds around everything yet. Let's just drill some holes for this. Alright, I think it's one of those days. Afternoon off work, things are just not going right, so I think it's time to go inside and watch a Christmas film, have a think about things, and start again tomorrow.